It's finally here. The 2026 6th generation Toyota RAV4 has finally been revealed. I'm here to bring it to you guys. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight to the images. Now, as you guys are watching this, I am currently at the actual reveal event. So I'm filming this about 4 hours before the reveal. All right. So a little like inception or time traveling here for you guys. We're gonna get straight into the images, and then I have so much details about this. My brain still hurts, right? Because Toyota is not going to have a really simple rollout on this vehicle. It has 7 different grades, 3 different body styles, new trim levels. Like, this thing is going all out. And guys, don't worry, I'll play some nice B-roll for you later. This is the standard model. This is I should say the core model, the core body style. This is the core body style, right? There are 3 different body styles for the new RAV4. All right. So this is the standard body style, but this is the limited. The limited comes in hybrid only, and actually the limited is all-wheel drive only. And this is an exciting news asterisk, something that we've never seen on a RAV4 hybrid before. By the way, it's fully hybrid or plug-in hybrid. What you're seeing here is the GR Sport, which is plug-in hybrid only. All right, but back to this model real quick, the core. You can get this body style in, I think it's 17, 18, and 20-inch wheels. All right, well, I can fact check that here in a little bit. The base LE model also looks like this. Doesn't have the fancy wheels, maybe not the fog lights either. All right, I haven't seen a base LE yet, but the LE and the XLE can come in front wheel drive. Isn't that neat? You can get front wheel drive on this model, as well as the SE. And all right, all the plug-in hybrids, all wheel drive standard. The limited is a hybrid, no plug-in hybrid. So for example, this body style is only hybrid, front wheel drive or all wheel drive. All right. If you want the plug-in hybrid, you have 2 options. You can get it on the sporty trim. Now, this is a GR Sport model. It's the first time we ever had a GR Sport here in the United States. And this is the only way you can get this color combination with this, I think it's supersonic red with the black top roof. I drove the GR Corolla automatic today at Eagles Canyon Raceway. So I'll have a separate video on that, but this front end looks like it was ripped off the new 25 GR Corolla that was refreshed, and it was slapped on here with some updated lights. Like, what I do like about this are these vertical fog lights. That does remind me of the old XSE plug-in hybrids. XSE plug-in hybrid or / primes. All right, you also have a blacked out logo here. The first ever GR Sport with the GR badge. I mean, the suspension tuning on here was also done by GAZOO Racing, Toyota's racing division around the world. All right. So in the past, the RAV4 has had some TRD bits to it, but TRD is really just for the Toyota trucks in North America now. Since this is a very globalized product, the new RAV4, using the GAZOO Racing and GAZOO Racing engineering makes the most sense. You have bigger, well, at least red painted brake calipers. I don't know if they're bigger. I'll have to see in the press release if they're actually bigger brakes. I believe these are 20-inch wheels, red calipers. Really nice looking vehicle. You see that the vehicle's is extended by this wing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. We'll see here a little bit at the reveal. I'll have more content on these coming with hands-on, I'm sure. I'm not sure, but I will be with these vehicles tonight. What's crazy about this plug-in hybrid is that previously it was 40 miles of EPA range. Now they're estimating 50 miles. Now, I've been saying it's going to be close to 50 miles because that's what the CARB states or the ZEV states require out of plug-in hybrids going forward in the near future. I think maybe even starting next year. So there's a little confusing bit to this. I believe some of them come with CCS chargers and some of them come with NACS chargers. Charging ports. I'll try to get to the bottom of that. I wasn't able to get answers yesterday, but the back end, guys, when I see the back end, this looks like, I hate to say it, but it looks very Nissan Rogue with these tail lights. All right, it looks like Nissan Rogue taillights were slapped onto the RAV4. It still looks like a RAV4. There's no denying, in my opinion. All right, a GR badge on the back. PHEV. Gone is the prime naming. They canceled the prime naming for the 2025 model year, I believe. All right, of course, there's no exhaust tips. Okay, another look there at the GR Sport. This is going to be the range topping model, probably the most expensive. So here are the three grades side by side. I think personally, the Woodland looks the best. It kind of has some Subaru vibes to it, and I'm okay with that, right? The new BZ Woodland has Subaru Outback vibes to it, except it looks better than the Subaru Trailseeker. I think it looks pretty good up front. And it kind of reminds me, guys, do you agree that this Woodland model, which is all-wheel drive only, and you can get it with a plug-in hybrid, but would you agree that this front end here kind of reminds you of the 5th gen 4Runner? I think so. That's kind of what it looks like to me. It looks like these have two different potential qualities of daytime running lights. These look like the more fancier daytime running lights with how solid these daytime running lights are, and you can kind of see, I mean, it just doesn't look as premium. And you have like the amber turn signals in here, where on these lights, the amber turn signal will be built into these DRLs, okay? But I do like these fog lights. So the Woodland model has Rigid Industries fog lights. We've seen that on Toyotas before, but it's typically like the Tacoma TRDs, the Trail Hunters of the body on frame lineup for Toyota, like RAV4 is 4Runner as well. So you also have on the Woodland, I believe it has this rack standard, and the Woodland has all-terrain tires. And so I believe these are 18-inch wheels. I'll double-check that, but I like the 6 spokes here. I think they're really attractive. And because these are all-terrain tires, it actually has around 0.7 or 0.8 inches or so of extra height to it. Ground clearance, I guess you could say. All right, so the roof is slightly higher here, and yes, the roof rails play a role, but without the roof rails, the roof is still higher on that. It's raised to the roof. All right, does anyone use that term anymore? Has Toyota just raised to the roof here with the RAV4 redesign? And the answer is yeah, it was already the best-selling vehicle in the country. Yeah, it beat out the F-150. All right, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this ridiculous hat, I'm in Plano, Texas. That's where Toyota headquarters is, and this hotel we're having at, there's just like props hanging around. So I have I'm wearing the cowboy hat. When in Rome. Ooh, first look at this interior. Very blocky. I just came out of a very blocky interior today when I was off-roading the GX 550 over trail. There are similarities, but let's take a look at this. My climate control knobs, gone. My fan control knob, gone. All right. Now, I do have high wattage USB-Cs. I really appreciate that connectivity. 360 camera parking. Now, what is this? Guys, this is our very first application and introduction to Toyota's new software called Arene. Now, I do have sources that know a lot about Arene, and they did tell me a year or two ago that Arene was going to be in the RAV4, and then he said he wasn't so sure. I think at launch, it's not going to be fully functioning, but there will be over-the-air updates to usher in more features on this Arene. So regardless, when it lands, it's going to be so much better than the current Toyota interface, which hasn't been around for that long. I remember it coming out around 2021. Was it HQC1 when the new Toyota/Lexus interface came around? And it's already gone because Arena is going to start replacing it in every single refresh and updated model. Or I don't know about refresh, but definitely redesigned models. So this is cool, guys. Now, I don't know how I feel about the climate control fans being touch capacitive, but at least we have buttons here for temperature control. It's still not as functional as a dial. That's so simple, tactile. At least I have physical buttons for temperature, but we do have a ventilated and heated seats here on this model. This is, I'm not 100%. Oh, this is a limited. This is a limited model. And here's some exciting stuff, guys. So look at this. Look at the updated software on the right-hand side. Look how much cleaner it is than the current Toyota interface. All right. Now this screen, you get two screen options, a 10.5 as well as a 12.5. 10.5 and a 12 and a half, something like that. Or they're two different screen sizes. I don't know why they just didn't have one screen size, to be honest, but it is what it is. This screen behind the steering wheel is standard. Even on the base LE model, you get this big 12-inch digital screen. Hallelujah. That's amazing. That's amazing. I just drove the 25 Sienna back, stay for my fuel economy results, my impressions on it, what I think of it versus the Odyssey that I drove for the better part of a year. So stay tuned for that. That has a 12-inch screen. What was that? It has a 12-inch screen like this vehicle, but this seems to be running much more different. Like, it is similar how you have 3 different customizable screens here, but this is definitely updated software here that you see on the right. 0.3 miles per gallon. Well, we don't know fuel economy quite yet on the hybrids, but it's probably going to be about the same. But you are getting more power, more smoothness, more quietness with the 5th gen hybrid system. We'll get into exact numbers here in a little bit. All right. Door panels, we already kind of knew what they look like based off the teasers Toyota shared. But I want to get back to these buttons. Hey, look, Lexus. I just reviewed the TX and I was frustrated because it was an F Sport and I didn't have a physical sport button to put the car in a more sporty mode. All right. Here's a RAV4 with a sport, like a drive mode button to get you right into your ideal modes. But there's also a normal mode here and a trail and snow. So yeah, lots of different options here. Would I prefer these knobs to be climate control? Probably, but it is what it is. Downhill sync control. Now this is optional. You see this little shift by wire shifter. On certain grades come with this little notch to shift gears. And some grades come, I think that the sport models come with a shifter, like a traditional shifter that you currently see in the RAV4, the 5th gen RAV4. All right, so good looking interior. What do I think about the steering wheel? I love how big, blocky, and chunky the buttons are. Look how much real estate you have for these buttons. That is fantastic. The seek button, the volume switch here, up and down for cruise control. It's just an extremely functional steering wheel. I'm very, very happy with it. I'm going to have to turn down the AC in here. It was a little warm last night and I forgot to crank it down, and it is, yeah, I'm starting to sweat with this cowboy hat on. Maybe it's just a RAV4 getting me all hot. Okay, here is the Limited. This is in Storm Cloud. All right. Ooh, what do you think about this? You know, we do have dual exhaust still, but they're not highlighted like they are in the current RAV4 hybrids. Guys, what do you think about that back end? I'll see you in the comments there. I don't know how I feel about this being like its own weird off color that I don't see anywhere else on the. I guess you have it on here, but look how thin and minimal it is here, and here it's really prominent. It sticks really far up. Not sold on that yet, but I'll see you guys in the comments. From the side, guys, it looks so similar to the current RAV4. This looks maybe a little bit more boxy in the back. I don't believe I have cargo capacity numbers quite yet. I like this Woodland a lot, guys. I like the Woodland a lot. I like it a lot. It looks fantastic. This, to me, is the best design out of them all. I like the all-terrain tires here. Hopefully it doesn't intrude too much in true ride quality and NVH, but you know, sometimes when you get all-terrain tires, it can help ride quality because the tires are big and meaty. All right, soaking up a lot of bumps in the road. All right, it just looks great. The Toyota Woodland model. All right, here's the interior of the Woodland. These seats look like they're going to be hot and sticky. Now, it has some relief from stickiness because of this pattern, but me being a Southern Florida resident, I'm always looking at how the seats are going to accommodate my sweaty self in the hot weather, and I'm not sure about these Woodlands seats, but I do like the green and this orange stitching. I'm not sure about the placement of this really like bright hazard orange color here on the armrest and on the steering wheel. I'm not sure on that yet. I think it's maybe a little much. And here's your shifter. Here's your traditional shifter. Can I get an amen? I know most of you guys prefer a traditional shifter, and some of you might like it so much that you would get a certain model just to get this shifter. I wouldn't put it past some of you or myself, to be honest. Again, that's 12-inch screen here with a different background to it. Big meaty steering wheel buttons, love that. Again, the new Arena software. This will also have, I'm not sure at launch, but it will have either downloadable or at launch, I'm not sure yet, Toyota Safety Sense 4.0. This is the first Toyota to offer that sort of safety sense. Now on the Lexus end, the new ES is also going to offer Safety Sense 4.0. All right, here we go. They're out hanging out in the woods. Look, this person's closing the hatch. And it doesn't seem like these people are AI generated, but the depth looks a little off here. So it could be. I don't know. Like, these people out here look AI generated, right? But let's look at this Woodland badge. I just drove the Sienna Woodland. It has like a slight lift to it. It has kind of all-terrain tires. I wouldn't be surprised if this has the exact same tires of the Sienna. All right. Also, this is a big deal. You have this standard on the Woodland models. This is the I think it's a 1 1/4 inch activity hitch receiver. And we'll talk about towing capacity here in a little bit. I like the parking sensors in the back too. But yeah, you can put your bikes on here or whatever else you want to bring along on the back. You can see the Beyond Zero hybrid badge here. I like that it's blacked out, RAV4. What do you think about this tiny Toyota badge? All right, the Toyota badge is kind of an afterthought with the RAV4 lettering being like, the showcase. I'm fine with that. And I like the back end here better than the limited models back end that we saw, the bottom of the bumper. But I still can't not see Nissan Rogue. All right, at least in the taillights. Guys, here it is. I mean, Urban Rock is what this paint color is called, Urban Rock. It looks a little bit like cement, maybe more of a little bit like Incognito on the Lexus end. There's just so many shades of grays now in the Toyota Lexus lineup. I can't get it straight. There's like Lunar Rock too. All right, we have Lunar Rock and Urban Rock. So there you go. Again, the bumper here, it's going to take some time to get used to. I think I like it better than the Limited's bumper though. I noticed a little Woodland accent here on the roof rail. I like that. All right. And from the side, looks pretty good. The back end looks more rounded off versus the 5th generation RAV4, which could lead to better cargo capacity, but it doesn't maybe not look as good as the hatch on the rear model or the last model. You see a Woodland, which looks so good up front, in my opinion. It looks like a modern 4Runner. All right, not like the current 4Runner, but the 5th gen 4Runner with a modern spin on it. I think it looks really sharp. And the back still just screams Nissan. A little bit of the new Murano too. All right, and it's not a bad thing, but it just doesn't seem to have that much of an identity on the rear end as it does on the front end. But that's it. And into this really lengthy press release, guys. I'll do my best to sift through this to make it as concise as possible. Let's start with the bullet points. It's 100% electrified. So hybrid is the base powertrain, and then you have also the plug-in hybrid. There's no, at least this point in time, there's no battery electric option available at launch. There's no mention of it. It still could come, but Toyota already has the BZ Woodland, the CHR. They don't need the RAV4 to have an EV variant. You know what I mean? Also, the PHEV gets 320 horsepower and 20% more range. So they're estimating 50 miles of range over the 42 that the previous generation had. So the last generation had like 302 horsepower. So it has like 18 more horsepower from the 6th generation PHEV. The 5th generation standard hybrid models is carried over from the Camry, but we get an extra like 4 horsepower on the all-wheel drive model, so 236 horsepower on the all-wheel drive models, and 1 more horsepower on the front-wheel drive models compared to the Camry, so 226 horsepower there. And like I said, front-wheel drive coming to the RAV4 hybrid for the first time ever in the history of the RAV4 hybrid, at least in the United States. And then the mention of Arena's software and Toyota Safety System 4.0. All right, here's a little bit of the confusing part still for me with the plugging in of the plug-in hybrids. So it has a larger battery. So we know it's bigger than the 18.1 kilowatt hour battery. I don't have confirmation on the size of this battery yet. I'll try to do some digging with my Toyota and Lexus contacts here because Lexus will be getting this 6th generation PHEV sometime in the near future as well. I'm almost sure of it. So DC fast charging is available. We've never had DC fast charging on these plug-in hybrids from Toyota. So the Access C and Woodland grades being more capable of high-speed charging through equipped with CCS. So think about this. All right, Access C and Woodland get CCS charging. All right, SE, so the base plug-in and the GR Sport, the top-end plug-in, have the J1772 charging port. I call it the NAX charging port. And that, I think, charges even faster. So I think they're saying 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes. But, guys, I think DC fast charging on a plug-in hybrid is kind of silly unless it's like an EREV where you have a huge battery. I think level 2 charging is optimal for a plug-in hybrid. All right. Even with a mild level 2 around 3.5 kilowatts, you can charge this battery up probably in like 5 hours. So that's not that big of a deal. Okay. So anyways, it's good that they have it as an option. I just don't think it's that big of a deal because on the level 2 end, they're going from about a 7 kilowatt charger on level 2 charging to 11. Okay, so a big increase at level 2 charging speeds, which is fantastic. That's actually going to be more beneficial to the average consumer plugging their plug-in hybrids in than the DC fast charging. You can agree or disagree with that, but I would think most people would benefit from the faster level 2 charging than the DC fast charging. Increase in towing capacity on specific all-wheel drive grades. So we get 3,500 pounds on most grades. All right. The grades that don't tow 3,500 pounds are the front wheel drive models, as well as the base LE all-wheel drive. I know it's kind of confusing, but those base models get half the towing capacity. Not bad at all. We know that this is on a modified TNGA-K platform. And if you looked at the Camry, the 24 Camry versus the Refresh 25 Camry that's on the same platform, it's a huge improvement in terms of smoothness and quietness, how it handles vibration and harshness. It's fantastic. And I drove in a Camry hybrid from the airport to the hotel yesterday when I arrived, and I'm like, man, this Camry is so freaking smooth. Well, the new RAV4 is going to be that freaking smooth too, because it's getting all this structure. Well, it's get the powertrain improvements from the Camry, but it's also getting the structural improvements that the Camry received as well. For example, structural rigidity increases due to reinforcement of the frame joints and the suspension mounting points, both benefiting handling and ride comfort. It also adopts a high damping adhesive that reduces micro vibrations and road noise. This is going to be getting awfully close to a Lexus. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, I could eat my words, but from the sound, I mean, the Camry is really close to a Lexus in many ways, except for the seat comfort is not good in the Camry. I don't know what Toyota did with those seats, but those seats are not comfortable. But like everything else, NVH, smoothness, ride quality, it's so good in that Camry, especially if you get the 16-inch wheels on the Camry with the fat tires. Oh, and the base LE. Shout out to base LE Camry front wheel drive, one of the best buys on the market. But we don't have pricing on this, by the way. Currently, the RAV4 hybrid starts at around $33,000, $33,500. Maybe Toyota, since they're doing front wheel drive, they can lop off $1,500. But with tariffs and everything coming down the hatch before we know it, who the heck knows? Who the heck knows what pricing is going to be? All right. If you guys are wondering when this vehicle is going to be available, yeah. So all we have on the launch is that these will be arriving at Toyota dealerships later this year. 2025 model, or sorry, 2025 calendar year, 2026 model year, and pricing will be announced closer to on sale date. And I cannot wait to drive these things, every single trim level. I want to see how different they are. I want to see how good the new hybrid is. I want to see how solid they feel compared to the previous RAV4. So let's hit on the interior real quick. Digital HVAC back controls into the touchscreen. I'm still not sure about that. You get a standard 12.3 inch gauge cluster, the optional 12.9 inch touchscreen, and a standard 10.5 inch touchscreen. A head-up display is available on Limited and XSE. I wonder if it's not available on the GR Sport, or it could be just standard on the GR Sport. It's hard to say, because they're talking about PHEV, so the only way you can get the head-up displays on PHEVs. All right, or plug-in hybrids. 6-speaker audio is standard, and the bass sound system on the Camry is pretty darn good. So good that I don't need, like, it shook my seat. So like the JBL's slightly better in some ways, but also the JBL, at least on the Camry, can get a bit rattly. I'm not sure here on the new 9-speaker JBL here on the RAV4. So stay tuned for that. Seating surface is either fabric or soft tex, which is Toyota's synthetic leather. Colors are going to be black, light gray, or the new mineral color on the Woodland, which we saw in the press images. Woodlands also get the all-weather floor and cargo mats, which I'm a huge sucker for. XSE and GR Sports, they get perforated ultra suede and soft tex trim seating with colorful accents. GR Sport models add GR logos to the front headrests and the steering wheel, while paddle shifters and aluminum sport pedals give it a sporty appeal. Now, I don't know if the paddle shifters, what they do exactly quite yet. They might affect the regen braking. Let me see if there's any. Nope, there's no mention in here for regen braking, but it could. In the past, Toyota hasn't done that. I think in some of their, like the BZ Woodland on the CHR, I think the paddle shifters affect the regen levels of braking. But I'm not quite sure what the paddles are going to do on this RAV4 GR Sport quite yet. That urban rock color we saw earlier is only on the Woodland grade. Meteor shower, which is also like a silver. It's like a shiny silver. There's Everest and Storm Cloud colors join the RAV4 color palette. Favorites like Ice Cap, Windchill Pearl, Midnight Black, Ruby Flare, and Blueprint will continue for the new generation. And available two-tone paint options are carried forward, like Meteor Shower with the black roof on the XSE or the GR Sports exclusive Supersonic Red with the black roof. Guys, this is something that has driven me up the wall with the Toyota interface software. Once you get into Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, there's no shortcut to get out of it. I can't think of any other manufacturer that does that. All right. Well, here's a fix. Toyota is saying the new system changes up the user experience with the new home button that is always displayed regardless of whether it's being operated in the native system, ACP, or AA. Thank you. Finally, thank you. Took like 4 years. Better late than never. I'm very, very happy. They're saying that the voice assistant's better, but you know what's also better than the voice assistant, even though this has been updated? Siri's better, as well as your Google Assistant are going to be light years better. And here's some charts real quick if you guys want to look at this. It's a bit mind-numbing. Here are the 3 different body styles up top. Oh, my head might be in the way. Let me get my head out of the way. That might be a bit better for you guys. So the 3 different body styles up top in each category. Now, the GR Sport will have its own unique front end to it. I don't know exactly how much it's going to change between the XSE and the GR Sport. It could be as simple as, obviously the suspension tuning is better on the GR Sport, and it's got the wing and stuff and exclusive colors and unique brakes and stuff. But it might just be GR Sport badges that could differentiate between an XSE and a GR Sport. I'm not 100% sure, so stay tuned on that. It will all become clear as we get closer to launch later this year. The Woodland, though, is my favorite looking one. Is standard all-wheel drive, and it can be had in the plug-in hybrid. The core looking model which limited is, guys, limited is still a range topper in terms of features, I'm pretty sure. But you won't be able to get that body style with the plug-in hybrid. It's exclusive to the Woodland as well as the Sport models. Even the SE can get the plug-in hybrid, just like the previous iteration, right? But it seems, yeah, it's just interesting. Anyway, let's keep moving down. Here are the horsepower numbers. I already kind of went over that. On the length of the dimensions of the vehicle, I don't think the wheelbase has changed at all. Remember, it's pretty much the same bones, but those bones have been beefed up with a little adamantium to make sure it's a stronger, more rigid, and a better handling and riding vehicle than ever before. All right, you can see that there are some height differences, right? I mentioned that the Woodland's higher than the rest of them, and the GR Sport is lower than the rest of them. So it's got a little bit of a drop on it, and a little bit of warranty talk, and that's about it. So let's get back to the images here and go down. Man, I cannot wait to see you guys in the comments on which models or which body style you like best. They all look very unique. They're easy to tell apart. Maybe I'll just play this video real quick, this B-roll. I'm impressed with the new RAV4, and I cannot wait to drive it. If it makes all the improvements that the Camry did, then it's going to be incredible. All right. It looks cool. I know it's not everybody's favorite. I definitely am not sold on the back of it, but the Woodland looks so good from up front. All right. The GR Sport should be like fairly fun, actually. The new plug-in hybrid, I cannot wait to test out how fast it is, as well as how much electric range I can get on it. And since the battery's bigger on the plug-in hybrid, is the fuel efficiency in standard hybrid running mode, is that going to go down because of the added weight of the battery pack? There's a lot of things I don't know, but I am very excited for this new vehicle. And stay tuned for more as we get closer to launch. I will have probably some sort of short or something to upload for you guys at the reveal event tonight. But I better start editing this so I can get on the shuttle bus and catch a shuttle for the reveal of the new 2026 Toyota RAV4.